Now listen, this is OBG. OBG. This is OBG. This is OBG.
Okay, so you know where to find me, Saturday on Facebook. I've also started a Facebook group called The OBG Show. Go and have a look for that. I sent many of you a request to join, and the reason I've done that in the main is I don't want to keep on hitting everyone with adverts all the time, but I do post on Facebook a hell of a lot every day. So for some of you who are closer to me and see my page, you're always going to see, you always see me posting stuff anyway. So this group here, all I'll do, instead of posting on my wall that I'll be doing this show, I'll do it in the group, and then that way you will definitely get that notification at least, rather than chancing it, because I've had a lot of people say they missed the show, I didn't know I was live, and they're people I communicate with regularly, but maybe they just didn't see those messages that day. But with this, it will notify them specifically, and they should know that I'm going live. Also, I did my first live interview for the Ordinary People series. I posted that earlier on on Facebook if you want to go back and look for it. So it's the first interview. It was with a guy called Subsonic, who's a UK beatboxer. It worked out quite well, to be honest. I'm happy with it, and I hope to do more of those. As I said, my goal is to interview Edward Snowden in 2 years. Yes, I'm serious. And in the meantime, just ordinary people. Get in there, Shana. You can type as fast as I can speak. I am a fast talker. This is me talking slow so people can get it. But yeah, I hear you. So say all of us. Oh, I think Tony's fighting. Let's fight and talk there, Shana. So, the interview went well. If you know anyone who wants to interview, anyone you think I should interview, give us a shout. Get in touch with me, obgchat@gmail.com. Which reminds me, let me complain. I ask people to contact me if they've got ideas or stories or anything by email, obgchat@gmail.com. But this is the problem I'm talking about. People are so locked into Facebook and so lazy they won't open another app, that they just keep sending me stuff on Messenger or posting it on my wall. And it's like, listen, my feed is live. If you post something at 9 o'clock in the morning, by 9:30 it's 400 posts away. I'm not going looking back for it, Or if you send it on Messenger, I can still see it, but I get hundreds, not hundreds, I get a hell of a lot of people every day communicating with me for various reasons on Messenger, and sometimes I just can't be bothered. I'm just like, I start reading, I think I've asked you to send this to anything like this to a mail account, because it's easy for me to locate it. There's no search facility on Messenger, and we have other conversations maybe after you've sent that, and I've got to keep on scrolling back. And I know it may not seem like it's important to some of you people because we only talk a little, but some people and I, we talk within half an hour, and we've got, we've done hundreds of scrolls worth of stuff on a phone, and then I've got to go back and look for that data. So if you do send an email to me, I can easily find it. I know who you are, I know what the subject is and so on, and I can find it in a second. So if you do want to share any information with me, if you've got a story, a news event, something in your area, grab that with a camera, send it to me. Hold your camera sideways. I'm not going to ever print anything this way. I don't care, even if it's a live shooting on London Bridge. Hold your cameras this way. If you've got any covert stuff, anything dodgy. No, to really be honest, I don't want to do anything that's underhand or sensationalist. I think people are slowly going to get fed up with what's going on in the world now. Quick sound bites and flashy stuff and, titillation and so on. And I think we're moving towards that. And by then, the OBG show is going to be there and people are going to come on board. I might still have some dancing girls in, though, and some dancing boys for people like Rianne. Okay, Shana, I've got a question for you. I find it hard to make friends with males without them thinking I want a relationship. It's almost like you can't speak to a guy, I'm not allowed to be single or something. Yeah, I find that's true. And it was the same thing, I must admit. Well, if I can say this about you, Shana, and I'm not just trying to be polite for the sake of it. When I first saw you, I was like, Jesus Christ, wow, Amazon, you're kind of tall and, you have great form and so on, a massive smile, but immediately, and I think you gather it from me, I didn't think, oh, wow, I'll try anything. It's just like, what an amazing human being. Wow, talk. But I think the majority of guys have never been able to go beyond the idea that every female is a sexual conquest or a potential girlfriend. And I'm not trying to say I'm different to other men, but I am. You know, I learned all this stuff very early in life. I had 3 really strong sisters and a really strong mother, and that stuff was hammered in me, hammered into me, hammered into me. And I haven't totally always respected women just because of my upbringing. You know, I'm a male, I'm this animal, I'm a human being. I've done some, you know, things that may have been unsavoury in my life. But I've also learned about me and learned about people, and I don't think most men do that. And we have this kind of advantage in this patriarchal society where we've got the power and we've got control, and we're shown that image all the time on television. The hero, you know, whether it's Bruce Willis or Arnold or whatever, they get the girl, you know. In the old films of old, they just grab a woman and kiss her, and you just raise up with this thing that we are in control. And in seeing these images all the time, and they still do it today, men just don't respect women. I think it's that simple. I'm not even going to beat around the bush with it. There's no respect. And it makes it hard for the guys who have got the respect who maybe want to seize an opportunity, because I don't think we always have to play games with women. Women sometimes, you know, like say things, oh, men just come straight up to me and he was quite forward and that. And it's like, well, how else are we going to communicate? I'm not interested in you for any other reason, to be honest. I just want to ask you dead up straight, do you fancy coming for a drink? That's it. Not like I don't want to sit here and play games for hours and so on and be nice and have, you know, use certain words and mannerisms. And we're animals. We meet and we fuck, basically. Do you know what I mean? And all the play around it's nice sometimes. You kind of know with some people where you're going immediately, but you kind of do a little bit of role playing, investigate, which have questions. But you know, there's too much of men just going up and wanting to take. So in your case. And it's not about blaming you. Shouldn't be so damn pretty then. You shouldn't be so damn good looking. What I'm trying to say is most men are immature around that. We don't learn. Women have to learn how to, their position. Not have to. I'm not saying they have to. That sounded wrong. Their inflection. Women are forced to learn their position in life. They're forced to have to behave in a certain way from a very early age. Sit there, cross your legs, keep your legs closed. Don't do that. Don't stand like this. Do like this. Don't eat like that. You're not allowed to chew loudly. You're not allowed to, you know, slurp your food. You're not allowed to belch in public, sneeze, cough, you know, whatever. And you have to modify your behaviour all the time. Men, we're not. We're just free reign. So what happens is we see women as objects still. And if a woman comes and talks to you straight away, it's like, yeah, she wants it. Sorry, I say it so crudely. Or I'm in. And then we start talking. I bore some women who want to get in with me. I talk about things I talk about with blokes, with other human beings. And in doing so, what it does, it allows me to form friendships quite quickly. Because I say to men, if you do want to chat a woman up, don't. And you have success. Because you're going to be different to every other bloke you met that day or that week or that month, and she'll be interested in you for that alone. Trust me. So respect women, guys, and I hope that answers your question, Shana. Also, but okay, I'm going to go back on to the subject I was talking about. Yes, this is what I mentioned that, Rhiannon. I didn't see a comment. I've always said that. Some people find it hard to accept. I said, look, I know if I'm going to sleep with someone immediately. Not always. Sometimes you're just not kind of looking, and you know you meet that person more often, and so on. Suddenly it turns into that, but you just wasn't aware, or they wasn't aware. And if you're both unaware, you see what I mean? But yeah, typically I think people do know. We're animals. You know, whether it's a scent, whether it's a look, whether it's a connection, but we know. And blokes still push beyond that. I'm like, for God's sake, do you know what I mean? That woman's not get that any sign, any signal that she's interested in you sexually, and there you are, you're still, you know, like hammering away. And I think it's just bad manners. And in defence of some of the men, and I'm not talking about all women, so, you know, don't beat me up about this. Some women role play that, so like the man has to keep on doing it because, like as you said, you just said you want to fuck someone straight away. But if that bloke knew that you knew that, you know, you kind of had this connection, and he says, "Oh, do you fancy a fuck?" You're like, oh, how disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, and I've heard people calling people out. Oh, this guy just come up to me the other day and asked me if I wanted to come home with him. I'm like, you just say no. I'm not talking about a persistent guy or the bothersome guy. I know that happens. But even when it does happen and you're in the mood, it's like, oh, well, you know, how about a drink first? How about spending money on me first? Do you know what I mean? And blokes have to put up with a lot of that. So they're obviously going to keep on waving the money because that is an aphrodisiac. There's no doubt about it. And English women in general just are not forward enough. But English women are just not forward enough. Like the Brazilian women, they can just come up and they'll take you, they'll ask you, they'll make you, not many countries actually, and I don't know of the other countries that do it, in fact, but English women are just like the shyest, they're up for it like everyone else, for want of a better term, but you've got to go, and this works by age. Let me just tell you this, and don't take this as 100% serious, take what you will from it. It's an age thing. When you're young and you're just sitting there at 16, you don't even have to go anywhere. You're in the local park on a roundabout after 10 o'clock at night. Maybe some cider involved, but even that's not necessary. Then you get to about 17, 18, cinema, and you're like, I'll get the tickets. Do you know what I mean? Backseat. Then, you get a little bit older. Now you get a bit more refined. You're like 19, 20. You're like, let's go to a restaurant. Which one do you prefer, Pizza Hut or Pizza Express? Do you know what I mean? I'm talking working class in the main here anyway as well. And, then you get into your 20s and now you're getting a bit classy. And you're like, should we go and see... and you try it on. It's a film men don't like. If they say they like this, they're lying. They want in. Let's go and see Thelma and Louise. And you know what I mean, guys. Thelma and Louise, same again. But now, women... get a bit more discerning, and it gets harder and harder. Now you're like 28, 29 years old, and it's no more parks, no more cinemas, no more Pizza Hut, no more like going to see a chick flick, suffering a chick flick, I'll say. You have to get the wine and a restaurant, and now your bill, just to get your hands dirty, you're gone from 0 to fucking 55 quid and maybe a taxi home. That's 70 quid. And what I'm talking about here is I'm not trying to put women down or paint a picture of them in the negative aspect, but in every one of those scenarios, the man has taken the lead or it was paid for it. So you can sometimes see why men are going to behave like that due to that. But women should take the lead. And I love it when women do that with me. Come on, fancy coming so-and-so. And I go, yeah. And I go, no, I'll get it. And they've taken me to a restaurant or they've taken me to a bar or, whatever. And I used to find it hard to take up on it. Not for long, mind you, when I saw the savings I could make. But I think when you're on the level with somebody, when you're open and honest with someone when you just first meet them, then you just know that and you actually have a friendship. You're friends. This woman who is around you isn't a date, isn't a potential girlfriend. You don't have to keep on buying her stuff. And women, you shouldn't keep accepting it neither. And what happens is you're like friends, so it doesn't matter who pays. Well, let's go to the pictures. I'll get this one, you get the next one. Or, oh yeah, I'm a bit short, lend me £2, without having to make the other person feel bad for not having any money or feeling that you're paying for them. You form the friendship first, of course, unless you want to fuck straight off, that is. So, Rianne, I love Rianne here. She's always got good stuff to say. Post-it notes, Okay. Yes, Tony says that's right. I have a lot of girlfriends that are friends. It's not a sex thing. It's having a beautiful chat about life. Yep, absolutely. That's spot on. I think that's important too. You kind of form these relationships. You've got female friends and they've got male friends, and you can sit and laugh and cry with each other. You can wrap your bodies around each other on the sofa, and it's not sexual. Sometimes it turns into that, and it has done, because that's just the way it is, But when you've got that bond and it's a friendship, none of that really matters, I've got female friends in the past. Cedric, you're just different. You're easy going. I can get undressed in front of you, and it doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. One for the bank. No, you can trust me, ladies. Get undressed in front of me always, please. So yeah, it's an unfair situation, as Tony says, with men and women. So as I said, the picture that I described is mostly talking about my experience. So I've seen it in my other male friends as well, and I assume it's very common for males. So when I talk about how women, I can't talk about how women feels and what their position is, and when they're on the other side of this relationship, on the roundabout, in the park, in the cinema, and so on. And in my experience, they've always been, and I love strong women, and I think people who know me know that. So it's not about me, taking advantage, but I still feel that I've had to have been the lead, and we need some more strong women just to come forwards and take those positions. Hello, Graziano. Okay, Shana. So that was a lesbian. A bit of a tomboy. Sorry, I get it. Didn't have the freedom. So yeah, you can read Shana's comment there about that. So when I was younger, I later found out through people I was a lesbian. People thought I was a lesbian because I was a bit of a tomboy, hanging out with guys and didn't have the freedom I had. But those friendships was that I was after. Yeah, that's what happens. But really, most of those blokes are going to keep trying it on with you anyway. They're not your friends anyway. First of all, they're just seeing you as potential sex. So. Just ignore them anyway, unless you want sex with them, of course. But don't even try with them, and don't even be polite to them. That's what I say. I can't be bothered. I'm the same with women, and even though it happens very rarely, I go out and some woman just eyes me up and down and thinks, yeah, I'd have you, and they come over and give that. I'm like, no. Go away. You know what I mean? They're the ones that chase you the hardest afterwards, actually. I think women rejected hurt much more than us guys are. Well, no, Tony, to say that she shouldn't be judged, I understand what you're saying. She shouldn't, but that's the way it is. So what it is with that, Shana, and I'm not saying, suck it up and sit and suffer, totally, but that's the way it is in the majority. So you have to learn your way around it. It's a tough one. No, I think you have, to be honest. You've got a strength about you and the way you hold yourself and something. And I know it's not totally your character, but it's definitely you in there because no one can hold themselves like that. Fake for long. You'd see through the cracks. And I'm the same. I'm not fake. What you see is what you get. I think I'm polite with people. I'm well-mannered and so easygoing. Passive, typically, to give people space. And most people want to keep pushing too hard, but you give them this space. But there's no stronger man than me mentally that you're ever going to meet. So... As Shana said, I think as I got older and for whatever reason I lost many friends throughout the years, it's almost impossible to build that kind of relationship with the opposite sex. Yeah, it can get that way, Shana. And not only just your looks, but also it's your character. Sometimes people think that that you're so easygoing, and I think you are a very easygoing woman. Actually, you've got a strength about you, which maybe I don't think you're aware of. The way you come across, as I said before on another show, when the first time I met you before, said hello and stuff. And on that night when you actually offered me a lift in your car to go to the next party, I was like, what, me? Like, wow, inwardly, because I see this amazing woman and I'm like, wow, that's great. But then, as I said, it was just like, I didn't think, oh yeah, she fancies me. I just thought, oh, amazing that you talk to me on that level and we talk on that level and we've still got that relationship now, even though we don't, see and communicate much. I just know when I see you, hey, how you doing? I mean, we've got a friendship going. Yeah, I see what you mean, Sean. It's the simplest thing to do. It's a genuine gesture. And as I said, women get it much harder than men. If I offer someone a lift in my car, they're grateful for the lift, the guy. If a woman offers them a lift, they're like, yeah, and as you saw with me, I'm a regular guy. We got on okay. I didn't think there was anything in it, and maybe other people would have read it wrong. And it's blokes, we're animals, and we won't switch off that total animal. We just want to keep on shagging, and it's about conquest and boasting. And most men haven't slept with many women, as many as they say. You have to always divide it by half it at least. Oh no, it's an eighth of what they said, a tenth. And so this is why they're all so desperate. They've got 100 stories about their conquests and so on, but most of them aren't true. And so they're always trying to do it. Because I say, if you are getting a lot of sex as males, you tend not to keep on chasing it. If you're somebody who just keeps on chasing it, yeah, I mean, you're successful. Good luck. If you're somebody who keeps on chasing it and not getting it, you're going to keep on chasing it. But I think if you do, if you are successful, or if you're happy with yourself, you don't tend to keep on chasing sex as a male or a female. There are those very special people who, that's what they are. They just love sex and they're lovely people. But I'm not talking about, I don't even want to put a name to it. People just, yeah, I'm the best in bed. I'm a shagger, whether it's a male or female. They just keep going out every night looking for separate partners, trying to fill a gap, literally, and both counts. And they're just not happy with themselves. They're the ones that I talk about in a negative way. Right, okay, listen, thanks for listening, everyone. We had a great show tonight. I'm glad that everyone took part. As I said, it's a show about the people, by the people, for the people. You can see yourselves, you can put your comments in. I wish we could actually have more vocal experience. In fact, what I'll do is I've got the phone set up, but I'll connect to start a Skype connection in future. So if anyone does want to voice their opinions, you can just Skype and I'll put your image up on the show, up beside mine. Yeah. And people can actually, like see your face while you're talking. And I say, don't be shy. The thing is, it's nice that some of us know each other in this group, so we feel a bit more easier about talking. But I think a lot of people are afraid that they're going to say the wrong thing, and it makes them, withhold what they're going to say. But as I say, you shouldn't really feel that way. I'll be right back after the break.
There's a man who contradicts. Wait, he's the type of guy who tell you there's no first place, but he's part of a race. Eyes lie, but take a look inside. They mirror the sights you'll see.